Good day, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. Pretty good weekend here. The weather was beautiful. Nice, cool mornings. Of course, it heated up in the afternoon. Uh, Sunshine. Saturday. What a great day for football, man. We had some upsets. Um, Crazy things happened. Really, really good games. We're going to go over that. Right now, this starts midway season is going to be next week. So this starts our two shows a week. We're going to do a review, some things that happen, and then later in the week we'll do a preview of the next weekend coming up because all kinds of things are happening in FBS and FCS. Things are starting to get in order, I guess you would say. So we're going to be doing two shows a week from now on. Today's a review show. We'll be doing the preview show here in the next few days. Um, Before we start, just want to send thoughts and prayers out to the people that were affected by that hurricane. Uh, Man, destruction, flash flooding, very, very bad flash flooding because of this thing. So, all you people that were affected, thoughts and prayers go out to you. I know how it is. We got flooded by Hurricane Harvey, had to redo our house. Um, it's a tough situation. Flooding, when your house gets flooded, it sucks. It really does. But yeah, we're thinking about you. We're praying for you guys. Um, you can get through it. It's a tough situation, but you can get through it. Got a few news items before we start. I think everybody's heard of Matt Sluka, UNLV quarterback, quit the team after he said he was promised like $100,000 for some NIL deal or something like that. But he never got the money, so he quit on his team. A lot of people are calling him a quitter. And then you got the other people saying, well, if your job promised you $100,000 and didn't pay, wouldn't you quit? And so, it's back and forth, back and forth. Um, I don't personally think he should have quit. He should have just stayed the course, seen what happens. And if he didn't get what he wanted, go to the transfer portal. But he just quit on everybody. But as we're going to see, as we saw Saturday, and as we're going to see coming up, they didn't miss him. They didn't miss him a bit. So anyway, good old NIL. At the same time, NCAA President Charlie Baker says there is evidence of dysfunction in today's NIL environment. Yeah, you think, Einstein? Should have done something about this before you let the reins loose a few years ago. But NCAA, they just need to disband. They are worthless these last 20 years or so. Mountain West Conference. They got 7 commitments from its members: Air Force, UNLV, New Mexico, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, and Hawaii signed a memorandum saying they're going to stay with the Mountain West Conference. Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Utah State, and San Diego, they're all leaving for the Pac-12 or Pac-2, whatever you want to call them right now. I still believe these two conferences should have merged. Got good teams in the Mountain West. Oregon State and Washington State are still good teams. Should have just merged those two conferences. You could have called the Pacific Coast Mountain Conference or something. I really think that would have been their best route. And a lot of the media does too, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's reported the Mountain West is interested in Northern Illinois also, but Northern Illinois says they have not received an official offer. Texas State, they got an offer to join too, so they may leave the Sun Belt to go there. That's just remains to be seen. You know how these things work out. Pac-12, Pac-2, whatever you want to call them, they're also interested in Memphis, Tulane, South Florida, and UTSA. All these schools turned them down. They're going to stay, which they're in the AAC. They're all going to stay there. Memphis AD Ed Scott said the offer wasn't a good deal, stating that the Pac-12 was only willing to cover $2.5 million of their $25 million exit fee from the AAC. So all this conference realignment, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of it. Sometimes I wish we could just go back to the old conferences: Pac-10, Mountain West, WAC, Big West, Southwest Conference, Big 8, Big 10, Big East back when they had Miami and all them. And hey, if you have to, add some FCS teams in there to make them even. think all those teams should have a championship game and then play off all the conference champions, and then maybe some at large in there, depending on how much of the field, how large the field you make. I mean, FCS has a 24 team playoff field, and it works just fine. So if you have to get 24 teams in there, so be it. But that's just me. That's why I sit here and I'm not a head of college football. All right, so let's go back over and review some things that happened these last few days. Thursday, Army moved to 4-0. They beat Temple 42-14. Army quarterback Bryson Daly, only 54 passing yards. And you think, well, it's Army. Yeah, well, of course. Ran for 152 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. Pretty incredible. He averaged 6 yards a rush when he ran the ball. Army's defense held Temple to a -5 rushing yards and had 7 sacks. And I read somewhere, this is the first time Army and Navy are 4-0 at the same time since something crazy like, back in the 50s or something like that. Because Navy, they're 4-0 too. They're doing good. Friday, Virginia Tech, man, you almost had them, almost beat Miami. Late Hail Mary by the Hokies was ruled incomplete. Miami won 38-34. This used to be a very, very good rivalry back when they were in the Big East, and even when they joined the ACC the first few years. But still, Vautech gave them a hell of a game. Almost pulled it off. I actually thought Miami would slaughter Vautech because the Hokies just aren't as good as they used to be. But, man, Hokies, they played a hell of a game there. Led 27-24 at halftime, hitting into the fourth. Virginia Tech quarterback Tyrone Jones, 189 passing yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. Cam Moore from Miami, 383 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Did throw 2 picks, but he also ran for a touchdown. Also, Hokie defense kind of looked like the old Bud Foster defenses. 3 sacks and 3 turnovers in that one. Rutgers, man, look at Rutgers, huh? Beat a good Washington team by 2 points. They are 4-0 now. Running back Kyle, how you say his last name? Managagi, 132 yards and a touchdown. Washington had more first downs. They were better on 4th down. More passing yards, rushing and total yards. Still lost the game to them. The categories that they weren't good in, that Rutgers was better. Washington was 2 for 12 on 3rd downs and had more penalties. Their quarterback, Will Rogers, 306 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Nice game for him. Denzel Boston, 125 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in that one. The Rutgers, man, they're kind of on a roll there. We're going to see when they start getting some more competition, because Washington's a good team, but there are some in the Big Ten that are better. We'll see how that works out. Like we said, going to move to Saturday now. Like we said, Navy 4-0. Them and Army, first time at 4-0 since like in the 50s. Beat UAB 41-18. Blake Harvith, Navy quarterback, 2 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown. Navy defense had 3 sacks and 2 turnovers. UAB 11 for 104 yards in penalties. That's not good. UConn, look at UConn turning things around, man. They are 3-2. Beat Buffalo 47-3. Nick Evers, Husky quarterback, he got knocked out with an injury. Joe Faganoa come in, threw 217 yards and 3 touchdown passes to Skylar Bell. Husky defense held Buffalo to just 12 first downs, 1-14 on 3rd down, 198 total yards, and had 3 sacks. UConn, man, 3 more games and you're going to a bowl. But as well as they're playing, they may win more than 3 more games. We'll see. Wasn't easy for Nebraska, but they beat Purdue, moved to 4-1. They won 28-10. All points in this game scored in the second half. John Bullock for Nebraska, 29-yard pick 6 in this one. I watched Indiana and Maryland because I've been hearing things about Indiana, and very, very impressed with that team. They are 5-0 now. First time since 1967 they've been 5-0. Beat Maryland 42-28. It's actually a close game, though. 14-7 at halftime. Second half, both teams, the offense kind of woke up. Both scored 14 points in the 3rd quarter. Both quarterbacks played great. Indiana's Curtis Rourke, 359 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, did throw 2 interceptions. Billy Edwards from Maryland, 289 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Good defense, too. Indiana had 5 sacks. Maryland had 3 sacks and forced 4 turnovers. But one thing, Maryland, they had penalties at the wrong time, and they were big penalties. I'm talking 15-yarders. When they're driving down the field on offense, something would happen. Like I believe a lineman face masked an Indiana defensive lineman, so that moved them back 15 yards. A couple times 15-yarders back to back also. So penalties kill him. You know, Mike Locksley, he's really not happy about that. Boston College, they had a scare, but they beat Western Kentucky 21-20. Quarterback Thomas Castellanos went out with an injury. Grayson James come in, 168 passing yards, touchdown pass to Jared Bradley, and also ran for a touchdown. Both of those happened in the fourth quarter for Boston College to win. BYU is 5-0, beat Baylor 34-28. Baylor's played good. They just can't finish games. Their losses this year are by 13 points or less. Quarterback Jake Ratzoff, 216 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, ran for a touchdown. The Baylor quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, he had a great game, 324 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, ran for a touchdown. 2 of those touchdown passes were to Josh Cameron, who had 125 receiving yards. Like I said, they're losing games, but Baylor's losing games, but not by much. I think the largest deficit was 13 points was the first or second game. The rest of them are by a touchdown or less. But Dave Aranda, I mean, is he going to be on the hot? Are we on Dave Aranda watch now, or is the higher up seeing us? Man, we're barely losing games. We got to find something to fix this so we can win. I don't know. Losing is losing, and sometimes it don't matter how much you lose by. If you're losing too much, change has got to be made. Nice to see Oklahoma State, has started their annual season meltdown. Happens every year. You still know it's going to happen at the first of the year, last of the year, or somewhere in the middle. This year's happening somewhere in the middle. 2 games in a row they've lost. Lost to Kansas State 42-20. A.V. Johnson for Kansas State, 259 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. DJ Giddens, 187 rushing yards, touchdowns for the Wildcats. What the hell has happened to Ollie Gordon? Remember how badass he was for the Cowboys last year? This year, only 200. This is what, fourth game? Oh no, fourth game. 208 rushing yards and 1 touchdown this year. He's just been absent. Maybe he's hurt or something. I didn't see or read about it. But man, that is just not the Ollie Gordon that we used to be seeing. Michigan, they get to keep the Little Brown Jug. Beat Minnesota 27-24. Wolverines are 4-1. Running back Khalil Mullings in his first start, 111 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Michigan defense held Minnesota to 296 total yards, only 38 rushing yards for the Gophers. They also had 5 sacks and 2 turnovers in that one. Ole Miss, what the hell? What the hell happened to you? I'll tell you what happened. I jinxed them. I never predict scores of games, but on Twitter, one of the pages, I forget who it was, says, all right, Ole Miss, Kentucky, what's the score? Who's going to win? What's the score? So I said, you know what, why not? I said, Ole Miss is going to win something like 42-13 or something. Sorry, Ole Miss fans. It's the first time I've ever done that, and I jinxed y'all because y'all lost to Kentucky 20-17. Rebels missed a 48-yard field goal with under a minute left to try to tie it up. That was after going 44 yards in 8 plays, too, so they had a decent drive going. Ole Miss just 1 for 10 on 3rd down. That's crazy. With Jackson Dart as your quarterback, you 1 for 10 on 3rd down. Only 92 rushing yards. Dart was sacked 4 times in this game. Rebels led in 4th quarter, 17-13. Then Gavin Winscott fumbled, and Kentucky's Josh Knotts scooped and scored. I haven't seen Lane Kiffin's post-game conference or anything yet. I'm going to watch it, see what all was said, but I know he's very, very mad probably. James Madison 4-0 beat Ball State 63-7. James Madison quarterback Alonzo Barnett III does it again for a second week in a row. 280 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown. Eric O'Neill had a 27-yard pick six. Sam Houston State, they're 4-1. They beat Texas State, a good Texas State team, 40-39. Sam Houston, much improvement since joining the FBS. Colorado, they're 4-1, beat UCF 48-21. Colorado, I guess your O-line getting thrown under the bus did a lot better because they only allowed 2 sacks on Sanders. So I guess those throw them under the bus and things will be a lot better. Eastern Michigan, they're 4-1. They beat Kent State 52-33. Eastern Michigan's running back Delbert Mims III, 145 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Elijah Jackson Anderson, he also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Eagles defense was on. They caused 4 turnovers and had 3 sacks. Kent State, 12 penalties for 101 yards. Man. We mentioned Matt Sluka a while ago. UNLV doesn't need him. Let him go. Let him go pout somewhere. They have, see if I can say his name right, Haji Malik Williams. I think I did it. Haji Malik Williams. I think that's right. 182 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for 119 and a touchdown in their 59-14 win over Fresno State. Like we say, like all Rebels fans are saying now, Sluka who? I've never looked up Sluka's stats, but somebody on Twitter was saying, let the guy go. He only completed like 40% of his passes. And so, like I said, I haven't read the stats myself. That's just what somebody was saying. So, hey, maybe this guy is better and they don't need Sluka. So let him go. What the hell happened to you, Kansas? What happened, man? You had Jaden Daniels and, man, y'all, last couple of years, y'all had a rocking team, but y'all got beat by TCU 38-27. Louisiana goes to Wake Forest, man. Raging Cajuns to win 41-38. Ben Woolridge, their quarterback, who's a pretty damn good quarterback. I've seen him play once this year against Tulane. 257 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown. Wide receiver Lance Legendry, 123 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Both these teams, though, after the game were close in all the categories, rushing categories, passing, yardage, all that stuff. Except penalties. Louisiana did have more penalties than that one. My Aggies keep playing with fire, and they don't manage to get burned somehow. I don't know how they do it, but beat Arkansas 21-17, moving to 4-1. Marcel Reed played another good game, 163 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown. Aggies defense made it tough, though. They held Arkansas to just 379 total yards. They had 3 turnovers and 3 sacks. But I will be honest, first quarter of this game, man, when Arkansas had that big run and ran just right through Aggie defense, I was like, oh, man, here we go. Here we go. Arkansas is going to get him this year. Petrino's over there on the sideline. But, yeah, they pulled it out. Thank God for that defense. But like I said, they're playing with fire, man. I mean, look, Bowling Green last week, and now Arkansas. They're going to hit some teams coming up, and I know I'm going to be pissed because they're going to probably have 3 or 4 losses. But I don't know. Sometimes the first year you just like, okay, whatever happens first year. But when you went through crap like we did with Jimbo the last couple of years, you want at least a 10-win season. But I just don't know if that's going to happen with Texas A&M. The dumpster fire that is Auburn continues to burn, losing to OU 27-21. Looks like it would be a good game. There's 14-7 at halftime. And then OU comes back, outscores Auburn 20-7 in the second half, including a 63-yard pick six by Kip Lewis. OU, though, they only had 11 first downs in this game, and for only 2 for 11 on third down, and still won that game. Is it too soon to say we are on Hugh Freeze watch also? Right there next to Dave Aranda. Who knows? We'll see. Notre Dame, they're 4-1. Beat Louisville 31-24. Riley Leonard, 163 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Also ran for a touchdown. Just like Oklahoma, Notre Dame wins the game, but they were worse on third down. First down and third down. And total yards, and still won this game. Tyler Show for Louisville. He had a good game, 264 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, but Notre Dame pulled it out. Wisconsin, I really didn't know what to make of this game because Wisconsin is not Wisconsin like we've seen, and USC is not USC like we've seen. But they played great in the first half. I said, hey, they may win out there in LA, 21-10 at halftime. But they kind of fell apart in the second half. Outscored by USC 28-0. USC quarterback Miller Moss, 308 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and ran for a touchdown. Wisconsin's 2-2 now. This is what, his second, third year? Is he up there? Is he on watch up there with Aranda and Hugh Freeze? I don't know. We'll see. Duke 5-0 beat North Carolina 21-20. I think North Carolina is something crazy like 3-2 now or something. I'll have to go back and look. Duke comes back from 20 points down though to win this game. Outscored North Carolina 14-0 in the fourth quarter to win that one. Texas beat Mississippi State 35-13 in their first SEC game of the season. Wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy game though. It was an 8-point game at halftime. Archie Manning 324 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Also ran for a touchdown. They sacked the Bulldog quarterback Michael Von Buren 6 times in this game. Iowa State 4-0 beating Houston 20-0. Cougars were 1 for 8 on third down, 72 passing yards. Turned the ball over 3 times. You just got to wonder if Willie Fitz was saying, man, I should have stayed at Tulane. I really should have. Clemson 3-1 beat Stanford 40-14. Kate Klubnik 255 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and ran for a touchdown. Defense, they were on too. They had 3 turnovers and 4 sacks in that one. While everybody's watching the Alabama-Georgia game, which I watched it, but I had it on the tablet. I was watching Illinois Penn State on the big TV. Very, very good game. Was very, very defensive too. But Penn State remains undefeated. They handed Illinois the first loss, winning 21-7. Like I said, very, very defensive game, 7-7 until the third quarter. Illinois' Luke Altamar, he did have the better game, 185 passing yards and a touchdown. Penn State, though, had the better rushing game. Katron Allen, 102 rushing yards and a touchdown. Penn State defense forced 2 turnovers and had 7 sacks. Crowd was a big factor. Those guys were loud, especially when Illinois was facing a third down. But that was really good old school football, old school Big Ten football. It was a very defensive game. Very, very good one. I really enjoyed watching that one. I enjoyed watching the Alabama-Georgia on the tablet too, but that Penn State-Illinois game, that was a really, really good game. Ohio State moved to 4-0, beat Michigan State by 31. Will Howard, 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Buckeyes defense held Spartans to just 13 first downs, 2 for 9 on third down, 47 rushing downs, caused 3 turnovers, and had 4 sacks. I don't know what Michigan State's going to have to do. Mel Tucker hadn't gone in the right decision. He did some stupid stuff, got fired. So, really don't know what the Spartans are going to do. LSU, 4-1, beat South Alabama 42-10, which I wasn't sure what kind of game South Alabama was going to give them. South Alabama was a good team. But, man, LSU, they just hit on all cylinders, both sides of the ball. Garrett Nussmeier, career day, 409 passing yards, threw 2 TD touchdowns, ran for 2 TDs. Running back Caden Durham ran for 128 and a touchdown and caught a 71-yard touchdown pass. LSU 667 total yards. Texas Tech 4-1. They beat Cincinnati 44-41. Running back Taja Brooks ran for 172 and 2 touchdowns for the Raiders. Boise State handed Washington State their first loss, winning 45-24. Running back Ashton Jeanty, 259 yards, 4 touchdowns for the Broncos. Florida State, man, just when you thought you guys were going to turn things around, got that win under your belt, you go to Dallas and SMU beats you 42-16. Kevin Jennings for the Mustangs, 254 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 of those were to RJ Maryland. Kobe Wilson had an 82-yard pick 6 from DJ. DJ threw 3 picks last night. I said a few weeks ago, FSU, DJ is not your answer. Hell, go get the kid from UNLV that quit. He's better quarterback than DJ from what I've seen. Arizona, they gave Utah their first loss of the season, winning 23-10. Nick Fifita, 197 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Wildcat defense stepped up against Utah. Stopped Utah 4 times when they went for it on 4th down. Stopped them. Held the Utes to 84 rushing yards, 2 turnovers and 3 sacks. That defense really came in handy for them when they needed it Saturday night. Oregon, they finally looked like Oregon. Man, everybody's wondering what's the deal with Oregon. They're not looking like Oregon. Well, they did Saturday. Beat UCLA 34-13. They're now 4-0. Dylan Gabriel, 278 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Tez Johnson, 121 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Ducks defense held Bruins to just 11 first downs, 1 for 10 on 3rd down, 172 total yards. They had 2 turnovers, 4 sacks. Bruins also had 9 penalties for 86 yards in this game, so that didn't help them out any. And then the big one that everybody was talking about all week. Georgia made a hell of a comeback, though, because that game looked like it was over by midway through the second. I mean, it really, really did. They were down 30-7 at half, but flubbed it up in the end and lost to Bama 41-34. Milroe, we all saw it through his 75-yard TD pass to Ryan Williams with 2:18 left, put the Tide ahead. After Georgia taking the lead a few minutes earlier. Bulldog quarterback Carson Beck, not too bad, 439 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, but he did throw 3 picks, so that doesn't help his cause. Neither team was good on 3rd down. Both only converted 3rd down just 3 times in this game. But Georgia was 5 for 5 on 4th down, so what are you going to do? Bama, 10 penalties for 90 yards. So, okay, so like I said, we're going to be doing 2 shows now because now things are starting to line up. We do some FCS also. FCS, UC Davis, they're 4-1, beat Idaho by 2. Their quarterback, Miles Hastings, 3 touchdown passes. Montana, they're 4-1. They beat Eastern Washington 52-49 on their red field. McNeese, they're turning things around. They started off not too good. Now they're 4-2. They beat Weber State by 2. Charlton State, who beat McNeese in the first game, they're 4-1. They beat Southeast Louisiana 36-33. Their quarterback, Victor Gobales, 3 touchdowns in that one. Central Arkansas, they're 4-1. They beat Lamar 34-14. Lamar was picked by a lot of people in the media to win the Southland Conference. I don't know if that's going to happen. Derek Powell, Central Arkansas running back, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. Montana State Bobcats, they are 5-0, beat Idaho State by 20. Villanova's 4-1. They beat Long Island Brooklyn 24-10. William and Mary, they're back up there. They're 4-1. They beat Hampton 49-7. William and Mary, 6 touchdowns on the ground in that game. Southeast Missouri State, they're 4-1. They beat Northwestern State 19-0. Delaware, they are 4-0. Beat Sacred Heart 49-0. Their quarterback, Zach Marker, 183 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Stony Brook, they're 4-1. Beat Morgan State 22-3. North Dakota State is 4-1. They beat Illinois State 42-10. Cam Miller, 3 touchdown passes for the Bison in that one. Mercer 5-0. They beat Wofford 22-3. North Dakota's 4-1. Beat Murray State 72-35. North Dakota's Simon Ronto, the quarterback, 276 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown. Wide receiver Bo Beluquist caught 2 of those touchdown passes. Isaiah Smith, the running back, 142 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. What's North Dakota now? The Warhawks now? I think they used to be the Fighting Sioux, but they changed their name. I think it's Warhawks. I'm not sure. South Dakota, 3-1. They beat Southern Illinois, 42-13. Butler's 4-0. They beat Virginia Lynchburg, 63-0. And then Dayton, they're 3-1. They beat Marist, 42-14. That is it. Y'all have a great day. Stay busy. We'll get this week to go by fast, and we'll be back on Saturday for some more football. Before then, next couple of days, we'll be back to do the weekend preview of all the games coming up, or the interesting games coming up. Because if it's an 0-14 versus an 0-14, we're probably not going to mention it. But we'll be back in a few days to preview some of the interesting games. Meanwhile, stay safe, stay busy, and we will see you next time.